Hi, I'm Tom, and this is Adult Game Reviews. This week I reviewed Growing Things Up by Kin KBR. Chapter 4 was just released, and I got it off of Growing Things Up Patreon. So there are going to be two camps who play this game. The people who think this game is pretty, but dumb.
He's a male bimbo. He's a mimbo.
And the people who think this game is pretty, dumb, but also pretty fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just bright and stupid and fun.
How do you know which one you'll fall into? Well, let's find out. So I need to update my AGR News video. Let me know if I should. But the reason views are down for many YouTubers is because of the restricted mode that is active for many people and they don't know it. On PC, if you go up to the icon in the top right and scroll down until you get to restricted mode, make sure it is turned off. The problem is all of you watching this video probably already have it turned off. So I may have to make the safest of safe videos to see if I can get everyone else to turn it off as well. I don't make much from running this channel, but it's been just enough to cover the costs of it. I want to thank all my backers for continuing to support to keep this channel running. If the views drop much more than this, I may have to change some things up. So please, share my videos, comment, like, and see if we can survive the current wave of censorship. Thanks all. Okay, so Growing Things Up is a tale of two different games. Before we get into all that though, let's talk about the visuals. They're great. I think all the character models are pretty. I have my favorite characters, but everyone looks good for the most part. There are animations, and if I'm going to complain about anything, I'm not a fan of the MC. I think he looks like the youngest member of a boy band. Outside of my personal preference, the visuals are good. There is music and sporadic sound effects and background ambience like crickets at night. The music was super hit or miss, but in general I thought the audio was pretty solid. So remember when I said this is a tale of two games? Well, it really is. You're either not going to care about this or you're going to care about this a lot. First, the tone shifts like a roller coaster. You're from a small town and come to the big city for school. The first thing that happens is practically everyone wants to jump you from the start. You go to check out an apartment complex and the middle-aged mom walks in and tries to take advantage of you.
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
From a story and plot perspective, this is super dumb. It doesn't make a lot of sense, there's no setup, and it's pretty jarring, and it's not just her, it's everyone in this game. So right off the bat, you have to be okay with this goofy and ridiculous setup. Then it shifts in a completely different direction, talking about trauma, abuse, and more. Now, I know many people thought from my previous review that I didn't like the missing part, which isn't true. I'm just saying that I needed the story to be further along. What this means is I'm all for discussing hard topics in VNs. The missing part is full of them, I like it. I think it gives the games depth, except in Growing Things Up.
You see that dark spot there? Whiplash!
The tonal shifts felt so bizarre that it kind of torpedoed all the shocking twists and turns. There was a scene where someone dies, and I'm guessing it was supposed to be a very shocking moment. Unfortunately, the goofy and ridiculous tone would switch to something heavier, which kind of made the whole game hard to take seriously. There are other things that happen, like a gang full of spies, mental illness, power dynamics, and so on, but they all kind of felt like daytime soap opera, and none really worked in the way that I think the devs wanted them to. This all would have been much, much worse if the writing was poor, but it wasn't actually. It was pretty good. The dialogue was interesting. Just from an actual plot and direction standpoint, it was all over the place, but the writing was solid. There are decisions that can actually affect your interactions with the girls. There's free roam at the Halloween party with Anna where you can play mini games. I know some people hate this, but I didn't think it was that bad personally. Usually free roams from my perspective just doesn't add to the game, but it also doesn't necessarily subtract. It's kind of a placeholder. If it wasn't clear at this point, there's a ton of grown-up content, so no complaints in the amount. I just wish there was some build-up. For me personally, without any sort of build-up or consequences, a lot of the content was fine, when it could have been much more impactful or meaningful, but, you know, to each their own. So what did I think? For me, Growing Things Up falls into the dumb but fun category.
But you know what? We need dumb fun.
I didn't take it too seriously. Pretty much all the heavy scenes I felt kind of missed the mark, but the girls were fun. So this is a hesitant play for me. If you really get emotionally connected to the story and Growing Things Up, I imagine you're going to need to check yourself for Whiplash, because this does feel like two totally different games. I liked all the girls, and there's likely a flavor here for everybody. It was probably because I just played the missing part, but I thought Growing Things Up as kind of a silly counter to the missing part. Whereas the missing part was so heavy, all the heavy scenes in Growing Things Up barely skimmed the surface of how deep the missing part could be. In other words, the missing part is a full meal, but Growing Things Up is like having candy for dinner. So it can be fun, but the impact isn't gonna last that long. So let me know your thoughts down below. I want to thank all my backers on Patreon and Subscribestar. And if you haven't seen my review of Mindweaver Chronicles, you can check it out right here. Thanks again. Until next time.